What if Nazi Germany had created the ultimate weapon? What if a brilliant scientist had succeeded in building a missile capable of delivering tons of high explosives to any city in the world? A weapon that descended from the sky without warning and at such high speeds that no one could intercept it? It's a terrifying thought, and the truth is, they nearly achieved it. Today, we explore the history of V-2 rockets in World War II. In the late 1920s and early 1930s, science fiction captured the imaginations of many through books and films. Rocket-powered cars, sleds and planes were breaking speed records, creating what in Germany was called the rocket rumble. For a group of engineers, scientists and students from the small German Society for Rocketry and Space, interplanetary travel seemed just one significant breakthrough away. Famed Professor Hermann Oberth's theories posited that the future lay in large missiles powered by a liquid mix of oxygen and gasoline, reaching beyond Earth's atmosphere. The problem was that building such a missile required not only brainpower and enthusiasm, but also vast amounts of money and resources. In a time of mass unemployment, the German military's Weapon Research Department made a tempting offer: provide everything needed, from rare resources and fuel to organisational support and testing facilities, in exchange for ownership of all patents and intellectual property. While some scientists were reluctant, most of the brightest minds, like Walter Riedel, Walter Thiel and Walter Dornberger, agreed to join. Starting in the summer of 1932, the German Rocketeers, led by 20-year-old prodigy Wernher von Braun, began their work at the artillery range at Kummersdorf. Despite various prototypes, the main goal remained consistent: to build a light metal rocket capable of travelling at least 250 kilometres, weighing no more than 12 tonnes and no longer than 14 metres. It was to be a liquid propellant, unmanned, self-guided missile travelling at supersonic speed at the edge of Earth's atmosphere. While the scientists aspired to reach the moon, the military sought the ultimate artillery shell. The first rockets were modest yet promising. Aggregate 1, just 1.4 metres long and weighing 150 kilos, gave a thrust of 300 kilos, but was unstable during flight trials. A 2 improved on this by solving the stabilisation problem with a heavy centrifugal gyroscope inside. When shown to Adolf Hitler in October 1933, the Führer showed no interest, arguing that such a rocket would never take flight. Military men, however, were intrigued, and von Braun promised that they were just exploring the missile's potential regarding range and impact size. Working with cutting-edge technology and visionary goals, the rocket program often required parts that had to be specifically invented, such as more powerful fuel pumps to accelerate the pressurized gases quickly enough. Planning, building and testing went hand in hand, with millions of Reichsmarks poured into acquiring people, resources, laboratories, precision tools, and above all, a new testing site. They eventually found the perfect location on the Baltic island of Usedom, called Peenemünde. By November 1938, the rocket program had made significant progress. Half of all new aggregate 4 rockets launched reached a range of 300 kilometres, landing within 7 kilometres of the target. This gained the vital support of Albert Speer, who planned to mass-produce the A4 by 1941, placing the rocket program on the same level of importance as U-boats and the Ju-88. The German war industry prioritised resources and skilled labour based on urgency, with final decisions resting with Hitler. Peenemünde required at least 6,000 tonnes of steel per month to maintain the 1941 plan, but Hitler only allowed 2,000 tonnes. Dornberger and von Braun repeatedly appealed to Nazi leadership, warning that the US and USSR might catch up if they did not proceed. However, Hitler wanted an immediate-use weapon, not one ready in 3 years. The quick victories over Poland and France pushed the rocket program further down the list, only to rise again when the Luftwaffe failed to win the Battle of Britain. The invasion of the Soviet Union then took priority, causing further delays. There was also internal competition. The Luftwaffe fought for resources for their planes and developed a competitor to the A4, the Flugbomben Fieseler 103, a pulse jet-propelled air torpedo. Far cheaper to produce and requiring less steel and lower quality fuel, the flying bomb was much slower, noisier and easier to detect on radar. In contrast, the A4 needed only a simple launch installation, was impossible to shoot down once re-entering the atmosphere, and had immense destructive power. Nazi leadership decided to continue both projects, pleasing no one. Work on the A4, which propaganda called the V-2 for Vergeltungswaffe, vengeance weapon, continued slowly. Von Braun faced issues with stabilization, pathfinding, and consistent fuel burn. Meanwhile, the V-1 flying bomb, named for the same vengeance theme, also progressed. In autumn 1942, British intelligence learned from a Danish chemist that Germany was developing a superweapon. After months of gathering evidence through aerial photos, Polish resistance reports and interrogations, the British were seriously concerned. They launched Operation Hydra in August 1943, with nearly 600 heavy bombers attacking Peenemünde, killing 738 people, including 178 scientists and over 500 foreign workers. The attack was a significant blow to the German rocket program, delaying it further. By October 1943, the remaining scientists, including von Braun, Thiel and Dornberger, were ready to unveil the Aggregate 4 as a weapon. The rocket, just over 14 meters long with a diameter of 1.65 meters, could carry 990 kilos of explosives. The steel at the top was 6 mm thick to withstand the 680 degrees Celsius temperature during re-entry. Fueled by a mix of 75% ethanol and 25% water with liquid oxygen, it required complex and powerful pumps. The V-2 could reach a maximum speed of 1,500 meters per second after just 63 seconds, creating a crater 14 meters in diameter and 7 meters deep. Hitler, now impressed, admitted he should have prioritized the program. Mass production, however, was challenging. Allied bombings of production lines made assembling the 2,000-part rocket difficult. Peenemünde had to be abandoned, and a system of tunnels in the Harz Mountains at Nordhausen was chosen instead. There, Dora, a sub-camp of Buchenwald concentration camp, housed thousands of slave labourers. Conditions were horrific, sabotage was common, and punishments were severe. By the end of 1943, over 11,000 inmates were forced to work on the rocket program. In May 1944, Hitler approved the bombardment of London with V-1 flying bombs. The V-1S, however, were too slow and easy to intercept. By September, the V-2 was ready to target London. Although the casualties were lower compared to British bombings of German cities, the V-2S caused panic due to their sudden, silent, and powerful impact. The V-2S also targeted Antwerp and Remagen, the latter being the only tactical use during the war. The rapid Allied advance and air supremacy, however, limited the V-2's effectiveness. One major benefit of the V-2 was its simple launch setup, with a 15-meter crane setting up the rocket in under 90 minutes. By March 1945, V-2 attacks had killed around 2,700 people in London and 1,700 in Belgium. Germany's worsening war situation made its leaders realise their past misjudgments, leading to rushed efforts that inevitably failed. Despite being close, it was too late. To understand how close they came, consider that one reason for the approval of the bombing raid on Peenemünde was an exaggerated claim that the V-2 could reach New York. Von Braun had plans for an intercontinental rocket as early as 1940, envisioning a 34-meter-long missile accounting for Earth's rotation and curvature. Hitler, however, dismissed it. Another idea was to launch V-2S from submarines, making intercontinental rockets unnecessary. By late 1944, this configuration was feasible, but too late for use. There was also Project Wasserfall, developing flak rockets based on the V-2. Von Braun envisioned a 7-meter-long remote-controlled rocket to take down bombers, and around 50 were built and fired by the end of 1944. But material shortages prevented mass production. Could Germany have won if they had invested in rockets from the start? Or was it a waste of resources better spent elsewhere? Let me know in the comment below.